part of our problem too is that here in Oregon, we're asking for money for Oregon products, so we would want to identify products that were grown, packed, or produced in Oregon. So there's different definitions. But then when we purchase Portland Public Schools, this is just us, everybody's different. We define local as more regional. So, you know, that we have this other local definition. So that gets really hard. I mean, a computer, I mean, you can only input so much information.
Well, and there are warehouse implications for it too. It's got to be stacked differently so it can be accessed separately. And that's a real
Yes.
thing.
Yes. And so setting up different, and the cost is different. In other words, and you know, that's another interesting issue as well, is that in order for a lot of the local farmers to remain competitive and sell their product through a distributor like us that might be sourcing product out of California for, let's say, $10. And let's say it's cabbage, because I was at a farmer that was just furious about this spring when we were, you know, in the rain before they were even able to harvest anything. Is for the last 10 years, his price has been the same for what he has been charging us. At the time, it was Pacific Coast fruit. No change. How much has gas gone up? How much has packaging gone up? So he has a fairly good sized piece of property, but he's making less and less and having a harder time with that. So the reality of it is now we're going to come to you and ask for more for product because the costs are real to that farmer and he's not getting compensated for that. But if you go to a farm down in California that grows, you know, a gazillion acres worth of whatever the product is, it's, you know, the volume offsets that cost and people are willing to sell it for less. So there's a lot, you know, economics plays a huge part of this whole process too. So, but I think it's not insurmountable because we've got people in Eastern Washington, and Abba Farms, selling tomatoes for, you know, very much the same price as what we can pull out of California or Mexico. And that's based on volume and what they do. So it's achievable. It's just a matter of making all the pieces fit together. Yeah.
Relating to that question of economics and the larger distributors, we all know schools are working on an incredibly tight budget, and like you say, a lot of the farm to school movement is about getting the money into the farmers' pockets, and that's why there's so much appeal for direct buying from farms. But obviously, we know the distribution challenges for all the parties in that. When I was preparing to sort of inform the Washington legislation, I talked to, I think it was Oklahoma's farm to school program, and they had worked with distributors like Sysco, I'm not sure exactly who, as partners, and the partnership included basically discounts on the markup or the pallet fee or other of the shipping, the ways you all make a profit. And I know that that's how your business model works, and it does cover all the costs that you face. But I wondered if you've heard of models like that, if you would think the company or you would be open to conversations about partnerships like that?
It's a good question because how much profit is anyone willing to give up in any environment? You know, I had a boss one time when I said, I think I'm making too much money, and he said, is there such a thing? You know, and it's a good point. Well, it depends. It depends on what you're trying to support. And part of the reason that I'm here today is more out of interest of what's going on here in this room, not as a distributor trying to get anything out of it. I mean, most of you are from a different state, so there's not related feedback on that. But the answer is yes. Everything's driven around how much it costs to put a load into another location, and how much are we wanting to make on that load. And you know, it depends on how far away it is, and so people enter into partnerships in that sense. You know, how much is it cost? Figuring out what their exact cost is going from their warehouse to your facility. One of the toughest things that we deal with is when you've got a school district that wants us to deliver 2 boxes of apples to a school that's, you know, maybe 15, 20 minutes away from any other school. That's extremely expensive. So how do you make money doing that? You don't. You just don't. And there's a lot of times we, as distributors, might throw up our arms and walk away from that. So, and it's happened. Yeah.
Now you might point out too, Randy, how thin the margin is that we, as distributors, operate on. There's not a lot of room.
Just duck delivery. Yes. Our margin is thinner than duck deliveries. Just kidding. No. Seriously, it is. It's because it is competitive. It's gotten less and less, especially in this environment, because we understand that process. We understand what goes on, and you guys need to spend your money wisely. I was surprised when I heard from Portland Public Schools how much of their budget, was produce and it was dairy. Yeah, I mean, and it was dairy was the other big one, and the rest of it had to be, the majority of the rest had to be subsidized, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, I was wrong, but I mean, it was amazing how much it was. So yesterday I had our vice president of merchandising here for lunch, so he could get a feel for what the needs of this group wants or what they're trying to achieve, so he can take that back and try to incorporate that into his purchasing process. And I could have brought marketing, I could have brought any number of people, but he was important because he's going to be able to go back and affect how he buys our product. So you tell me what you want, but just be detailed in how you put that to the people that you're putting it out to for a proposal. In other words, Portland Public Schools wanted local product, and they had a farm to school program, and I got detailed about who our connections were from the farm standpoint, and I got try to put them in, and let them know that we can put them in touch with those farmers, that we have those connections, and Duck Delivery has those connections, and Food Services of America has those connections. So just let us know. I don't, if there's an itinerary, update, I guess, your resume or your RFP so that we know what it is you want, as opposed to, all you're going to get back is, well, this is a fee for case, and this is what it's going to